up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Talking Elite Fitness. I'm Sean Woodland, joined as always by Lauren Khalil. Lauren, what's up?
Not much. I'm just listening to some pre-fireworks.
Oh, pre-fireworks.
Pre-fireworks. People getting a little crazy today.
Those are the best. And featuring Tommy Marquez, who's been out working hard all day. Tommy, how are you?
I'm good. I'm covered in dirt, sunscreen, and yeah.
Get used to
feeling
it.
Good.
That's what I just call that Saturday.
Oh man, dude, we did some excavating today.
You got to drive a bulldozer, is that correct?
Oh yeah, and an excavator.
Are you qualified to operate either pieces of those machinery?
I am.
You are.
Oh, okay.
Did you take an online course? How'd you
hire
that?
Tommy for anything? There you go.
And my father-in-law is a savant with them, so I am.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's the Yoda to your Luke Skywalker.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, Tommy's got miles in the background. He's having a day. We are recording this on July 3rd. So happy 4th of July Eve, everybody. You either can leave out, what do you leave out? Milk and cookies for Captain America or milk and cookies for Kurt Angle. I don't know which one, whatever you celebrate. I don't know what denomination of 4th of July you are. But
I feel like you should leave a hot dog. And Lay's potato chips out for.
Yeah. It's a bad day to be a hot dog.
For Kurt Angle.
For Kurt Angle, yeah.
Okay, so all right. So I was in Vegas this past weekend. That brought up a memory. Bad day to be a hot dog. I'm with my friend Mike. I've known him for 27 years. We worked in TV together, not at the same stations. We work for the same stations, but not at the same time, same markets. Anyway, we're at the stadium swim at Circa, which is, if you've ever been, there's a gigantic water complex and it's got a huge outdoor screen, and we're just hanging out. And he has had a few wobbly pops, and there's a woman in the pool and she is wearing that hat. It's a bad day to be a hot dog. And he goes, bad day to be a hot dog. What is that? Looking at me, I go, it probably means that she's going to eat a bunch of hot dogs later. It's a bad, he goes, I don't get it. That doesn't, and now obviously I go, Mike, it's a bad day to be a hot dog. He's going to eat a lot of hot dogs. And so he proceeds to swim up to her and asks her what the hat means. And she proceeds to give him the same answer that I just gave him. And he comes back, he goes, yeah, I don't get it. Like, all right, whatever. So thank you.
Damn.
Tito's.
Well,
yep.
So anyway,
whoops.
Yeah, you can only do so much to try and spare your inebriated friends of any kind of humility.
You can lead a horse to water,
That's right. Okay, we got a couple headlines we want to get to before we get to the main part of the show, and that is going to be an interview that Tommy Marquez did with one Arielle Loewen, who's heading back to the CrossFit Games yet again. How many trips is this for her? She's getting up there, right?
2021 was her first year out of the Granite Games. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, that's right, because she went she just wanted her sign.
Yeah,
she wanted
her name placard.
Her name
so this would be her 5th year.
Okay, so we'll be hearing from her. Tommy spoke to her. Before we do that, we want to thank our presenting sponsor for today, and that is Thirdzy. If you go to Thirdzy.com and you use the code TEF, you can save 20% on their rest and recovery collagen. Thank God I was able to take mine to Las Vegas and had it earlier than I usually would, because it doesn't make you drowsy. It just calms your central nervous system, so you are ready to sleep whenever. Because I was a little tired. I didn't know if I was going to go to sleep. Took my Thirdzy. I stayed out another 3.5 hours listening to some cool live music down there on Fremont Street. Came back, went right to bed. It was fantastic. So
wow.
Thirdzy is
and you
awesome.
Kept your heart rate under control while you were splitting aces or splitting eights.
No, I didn't gamble at all.
Mellow
I was that close. I was that close to jumping in. I was like, you know what? No, not this time. I'll mail my money in next time. But Thirdzy has GABA, it has L-theanine, it has magnesium, it is melatonin free, so it's not habit forming, and all those ingredients are designed to calm your central nervous system so you get to sleep faster, stay asleep longer, and get better quality sleep. And I mentioned, I got on vacation a couple weeks ago going to Yosemite. I got 9 hours of sleep, but my deep sleep and my
Sean,
restorative sleep.
Is a huge PR for you.
I didn't have Thirdzy. And my restorative sleep and my REM sleep went down significantly. I get more if I get 3 hours less because I have Thirdzy.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So check them out. Thirdzy.com. The code is TEF. You're going to save 20% on the rest and recovery collagen.
And actually, I believe right now you're going to get more than 20% off because every dollar spent using our code right now goes to the athlete fund to help support a games athlete. So We will be selecting a special games athlete. From any division people have nominated. We're in the process of sorting through and picking a winner. But
Should be
during that
announced
time
next
frame,
week.
We got a lot.
during that time frame, you get 30% off plus 20% of the money spent goes directly to the fund. So
Damn.
you get a better discount. Money goes directly to the athlete, and we'll get to announce the winner soon. So no better reason than to hop on the Thirdzy train right now and send it for a good cause.
It's a win-win-win all the way around. Thirdzy.com. The code is TEF. Okay, let's talk about a couple quick headlines here. Dave Castro on his weekend review announced that crossovers with the jump rope, double unders are coming back. Those first showed up in 2022 or 2021? It was Boz's 2022.
Two. Yep.
Nick, and then they did it in a way. So it was like the speed skill. Was it the speed skill medley is what they called it? Mm-hmm. And they did it in a way so that that movement did not show up until the final round. Cause it was an elimination style event where they took like the top 20 times and the top 10 times. So it wasn't even until the third round that those were even tested. And it was Nick Matthew, who was the only guy who was able to complete all of it. So it's not, the whole field didn't have to do it.
Yeah. And, I believe Guy got it late too.
I think Guy got a few, and Danielle Brandon got a few. She didn't get through it, but she was starting to get it. And I don't think there's any surprise that these are coming back, because this is something that is common at the CrossFit Games. And I think the pegboard is probably the best example of this, as something that stopped a ton of athletes dead in their tracks. And they brought it back, I think the next year, right? They brought it back pretty quickly, and all of a sudden everybody could do it. So it's a cool way to show, hey, we threw this out there once, no one could do it. I guarantee you a lot more people than just Nick Matthew and Danielle Brandon are going to be successful with this.
Oh, all of the athletes. I feel like that's all I've seen on Instagram stories is them practicing, or people showing like the marks on their legs and their backs as they're trying, kind of like when we were first learning double unders and you have whiplashes, like they're experiencing bruises now from this.
Well, also a different jump rope is better for this one, right? You know, like we're used to like the wiry speed ropes, and you know, for a lot of athletes, they like something with a little bit more weight to it, maybe with some, you know, even the old school like beaded ropes.
Yeah,
you know?
the one from PE class.
Yeah, that you get a lot more like weight and feedback from. Like I actually like doing them on those.
Me too.
But I didn't think it was that big of a. I'll admit I didn't think it was that big of a deal when people were flipping out about them the first time. Because I don't know if you remember. I don't know. People were all up in arms about the crossovers and the fact like the games athletes like couldn't do them.
No, why did that upset you?
No, it didn't upset me. I'm saying it didn't.
So
okay. Everyone was up in arms on that, and I didn't quite understand the frustration about it, because like we were sitting in meetings, like talking with Boz about the program, and he was like, people are going to be upset about this, but only 5 athletes earn the right to actually showcase this, right? So like, was it 10 out of 80 athletes, right? So an eighth of the field actually gets to have a chance at doing that. No, even less. Yeah, 10 out of 80. Yep. Yeah. So it's like most of these, what is that? Like less than 15%, maybe 15%.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of the games field don't actually have anything to complain about, because they won't get there and they won't get a chance to attempt them. So in that, and like when he painted it that way, and when I thought about it, like, hey, like it's like, you have to earn the chance to get after that and showcase that skill. It wasn't as big of an issue for me.
Yeah, the fact that he said that, and the fact that they had so few people actually have to face that, I agree. Had they put that in the first round, then I think there's a legitimate gripe there, because now the whole field is just stopped,
struggling.
Which is what we saw with the pegboard back in 2015. Like that was a big thing, because only a few people got past it. And you had some athletes who chose to not even attempt it. And that was a big controversy too, because they were fresh going into then the second part of that whole event. And so the fact that they put it late. Yeah.
You could make an argument that the way the pegboard was programmed and people choosing to rest, like it was the difference between Sarah winning and Katrin winning that first year.
I would agree with that. I think it definitely made a difference. And it'll be interesting to see here in this year where it shows up. Now, I think they'll have more people. I think the whole field will have to do them. But part of me thinks maybe it's like a round thing where it gets progressively it's like the rope gets progressively harder or something, and that is in the final round. So there is still a little bit, you got to earn it to get there, and then I don't know, but
I could almost see it as like a turnaround point and a down and back chipper, a ladder chipper, right? Where like you get all this way, and then it's like the gatekeeper for like the back half of the workout, but it's not not something super super high rep, I guess, but still they're gonna be fine. Like I don't know. I don't think they're that hard.
Are you happy that Dave announced it this early and gave people more of a heads up, or would you have preferred that, since we have seen it before, this be more of an unknown until they get to the games?
I like the fact that they announced it early because I want to see people do it. I want to see that progress, and I think that obviously, more time you have to practice, the greater the likelihood that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I can see both sides of it. I would say that like athletes have been practicing it pretty religiously. Like, like the athletes don't like being embarrassed on the floor. They don't like the feeling of not getting to showcase their fitness, right? So a lot of athletes I've seen, in major comp preps have posted videos of them practicing and just kind of fine tuning a little bit and being able to rep them out. So I honestly think that they could have announced it like 2 weeks from now, like a couple weeks out, right? So I mean, most of the athletes will probably be winding down in a couple weeks anyways.
Sorry, did you hear that?
No.
What?
I'm calling something up here. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it or not. We'll probably just do it without sound.
What is it?
Remember this?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can hear it.
So this is the video.
Forget.
So this is Tommy Marquez. This is back. God, when was this? 12 years ago. Look at Tommy Marquez.
What shoes are those?
Doing triple unders.
High top Reebok pumps.
Oh my God, they look like moon boots.
Just go to YouTube and search CrossFit triple unders, and this video come up. 347,000 views of Tommy Marquez doing triple unders. I remember the day you guys shot this.
Yep. I'm pretty sure I have a shirt that has a cat wielding a sword and lightning. It was so funny. This whole video came together in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Leif Edmondson basically was walking around the office because they were planning on programming triple unders for a .com workout. And they needed to have someone demo it. And so he's going around, and he talks to Marston, and Marston's like, I'm pretty sure Tommy can do it. And so they come running over to our area, and they're like, hey, can you do triple unders? I'm like, yeah. They're like, how quickly can you do them? I was like, I don't know. Just give me like 5 minutes of warm up and I'll rep them. They're like, do you have any fun shoes? And I was like, well, I have Reebok high top pumps. They're like, perfect. And they're like, get a pair of sunglasses too. And basically like me and Marston walked out there, Leif watched, and we filmed it and just basically did that and knocked it out. And then everyone got if you go, I think it's still in the comment section, people are all up in arms about like there being a weight at the end.
It was tape.
And it's not a weight. It's a piece of
basket. It was like a piece of gaffer tape or something.
It's a piece of gaff tape because the rope, the cabling frayed a little bit. It was cutting me when I missed it. So I had to tape over it just for, so I didn't look like it was still exercise and flagellation.
Weight or not, which it isn't. Impressive. So I had to call that up because you never met a jump rope you didn't like. So
nope.
Double under crossovers are coming up, and I don't know. Maybe triple unders one day. Maybe. Did they program them or did they scrap that idea?
I want to say they scrapped that idea.
Okay, because I don't know if they've been programmed before.
Oh my God, I feel like someone has done them before somewhere.
Probably, but I don't think .com ever programmed them, and I know CrossFit's never had them in a competition.
CrossFit's never had them in a competition. .com programmed them a long time ago,
okay,
but
so all right. Cool. All right, next thing, congratulations to Bethany Flores. Got to give her the horn. She's pregnant, expecting a child in December. So congratulations.
The year of the babies.
That's good for her. That's great. Super happy for her. You can go to her Instagram page. I'll call it up actually. So if you guys are watching, you can see it. But she has a lengthy So you go to her page here. She has a lengthy sort of thing. Randy and I have been keeping a little secret for 14 weeks, and then goes on to kind of go back. Found out a week before online semifinals that I was pregnant. Congratulations. And then another layer of hard that it added to it, and then kind of goes through her whole story. So congratulations to Bethany Flores, she's going to be a mom. That's awesome. Good people.
So that means she was pregnant during World Fitness Project too, and she was just kind of cruising.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dang. Good for her.
Crazy.
So you just want to give some congratulations there to Bethany. So,
that's awesome.
Love to see it.
All right. Well,
love to see it.
Before we get into our interview with Arielle Loewen, and I'm going to tease something too. After the interview, come back, and I'm going to make an analogy between Arielle Loewen and an OG CrossFitter that just popped into my head the other day while I was driving. And I want to see if you agree with me, Tommy.
Okay.
So, but before we do that, we also want to thank our other sponsor. That is Victory Grips, grips that are designed by former gymnast and CrossFit affiliate owner Victor Pellegrino. So they've been around since 2016. And if you know your CrossFit history, grips really are sort of a recent thing. So they were one of the originals. I mean, I remember back in the day where, we're like taping our hands with those things. If you knew someone maybe had like a pair of gymnastics grips that you could use. But yeah, there was no such thing as grips until about 2015, 2016. They were the first to develop synthetic leather grips, rubber grips, and the fingerless design. And look, they have grips for all bars, all types of environments. They have the X2 material, which is a synthetic leather. It's great for sweaty workouts and humid conditions. Most grips, they're like kind of one size fits all. And if you don't like this one, well, tough. You got to make it work. If comfort is important to you, they have this really cool, fit. It's the
V series.
Yeah, the V series. I love that. So it's like them. It's kind of when you see it, it's hard to explain. It's like the wrist strap is like angled off of the grip, right? So it doesn't.
It's shaped like a V.
It's shaped like a V. Exactly. That would be an easy way to explain it. But I was trying to say a V doesn't. It really looks more like a Y. But the wrist thing itself is a V, and it has a really comfortable fit around your wrist. Because a lot of times you get those and you put them around really tightly, and they kind of dig into the side there.
Or I'll always wear sweatbands under my grips. Mm-hmm. And with these ones, the padding is just thick enough where you don't have to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very comfortable.
So check them out. You can go to victorygrips.com. Our code is TEF and you save 20%. And again, they got all kinds of grips. If you don't like the fingerless, you can get the finger holes in them. You don't want that? You can get wider, longer, softer, different materials. Check them all out. Explore the space. They're fantastic. Love me my Victory. I'm a sucker for good grips because I was back in the day. I remember ripping so many times with tape.
Same.
I couldn't, I tried so many things and there were so many little gimmicky things out there. You ever get those they're like the little half gloves that you put on? Did you ever get those? I tried those. I tried everything.
I stopped at those. I didn't.
I'm like, give them to me. I don't care. I'm tired of my hands ripping. So get yourself a great pair of grips, and Victory Grips is where you can do it. victorygrips.com. Save yourself some money with the code TEF. All right, Tommy, you had the pleasure of speaking with our good friend Arielle Loewen, who is getting set to head to Albany to try to, and I was thinking about this, and I'm pretty sure I'm still right, break the American drought on top of the women's podium. The last time an American woman won the CrossFit Games was Kristen Clever in 2010.
Long time.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh, man. International women between Iceland, Canada, Australia have had a stranglehold on it. So yeah, had a great conversation with Arielle. We chatted the games, chatted World Fitness Project. We chatted Red Bull Rancher Strong.
Yeah.
And how she came to be the inaugural winner of that competition. So here's my conversation with Arielle Loewen. All right, now let's welcome in our guest for this week's show. She is a podium finisher at the CrossFit Games, at Rogue Invitational. She was 5th place at the inaugural World Fitness Project Tour Stop 1. She's been the world's fittest mom on earth. And she's also the Rancher Strong champ on the women's side. It's none other than Arielle Loewen. Arielle, how you doing today?
Hey, thanks for having me. Man, what a list of accomplishments.
Hey, and you're only adding to it, but let's start with that last one because that was kind of a cool thing to pop up in the fitness world feed is the Red Bull Rancher Strong event that that I think it might have been one of their first or second events, maybe their first one ever of that type of an event. How did you hear about it? How did you get involved? And what was kind of the experience?
I mean, it looked a blast. I'm sure you got to see all the fun we had. I actually didn't find out about it until about a week before. I got an
Oh,
email and they're like, "Hey, we need a few more women." And it was actually O'Keefe was like,
uh-huh.
"Hey, they're looking for women in Texas. Would you drive down and be willing to do this?" And I talked to Dylan and we're like, "You know what? What's a 5-hour drive? Let's go." And I was like,
I,
"This go ahead."
I was gonna say, I feel like, stemming from like previous games experiences, flying, and our travel things, I was like, 5 hours, you guys got that, no problem.
Totally. And a quick trip to Dallas. So we just loaded up the truck and was like, let's see. I'm not training for this by any means. I'm just doing CrossFit to prepare for this. Let's see if that's enough. And it 100% was, but it was crazy obstacle course, a mix of ninja, a little bit of CrossFit in there, a little bit of agility, a sled pull, and like a 90-second sprint. So it was a blast, but actually pretty challenging.
Ah, and so for the people that were unfamiliar, could you kind of lay out what exactly like the feats and obstacles were that you had to do to in order to win this?
Yeah, there were 32 women that they invited. F45 people were there. There were a lot of ninja course racers there, and there were some ranchers that they invited, and then CrossFitters like myself. So you had this wide variety of people. And 3, 2, 1, go. You go head to head against somebody on this huge Red Bull course. You go down monkey bars. You carry some rogue feed sandbags. You get over a fence. You throw a tire. Then you do over under like you've seen at Rogue in the games before, balance on wood logs, up and down a hay bale, push a trailer, sit on a saddle, pull a sled, put a ladder up, and then hit the buzzer and your time stops. So there were so many moving pieces where your brain had to remember, like, where am I going next? This is what they're looking for. Don't forget to throw the sandbag here. And then 3, 2, 1, go. Next thing you know, you're hitting the buzzer and it's like all the fatigue hits. It went from 32 elimination style, 32
Yeah,
to 14 to 6, and then the final was just me and actually a ninja professional went head to head on the final one.
that's awesome. And for one, I feel like it maybe confirms a lot of what us longtime CrossFitters have thought is that the general physical preparedness of the training like can be applied in short bursts or in quick action to a variety of different things. And I think a lot of CrossFitters were beating their chest when they when they saw you on
So
top of that.
I know.
But
The cool part was we had to throw a tire over a probably like a 6 foot tall gate. And it was really cool to see like the CrossFitters that were there. Like Guy
mhm,
Majeros was there. There was another male CrossFitter competing. Could easily figure out like a kettlebell swing. You lift it, you
mhm,
explode with your hips, follow through with the arms. Those who had never had to like throw anything overhead really struggled to connect to the body to figure out how to throw it. So there were definitely some things where I'm like, no, this is how you use your hips, and then you follow through with your arms. Like it shouldn't be that hard. But it's like, no, that's what we train every day in the gym. And it just carried out in fitness.
hey, that's like that should be put on a billboard, or that this clip
Right.
should be used as advertising for every CrossFit affiliate on the planet right now, especially in Texas with the all the Rancher Strong stuff. But
That's
um,
right.
at what point did you know, like, or did you have a feeling like, hey, like I got a good chance at winning this?
It was definitely me and one other girl were the top two. I think my first time was like 154. Her
Mhm,
first run was 205. So we were really close the whole time and neck kind of the whole time. But what I realized is I was really good at the weighted stuff because
mm,
obviously CrossFitters use weights, ninjas use more of their body weight. So I
mhm.
really was just like, if I just have a clean run every time, I can do pretty good. So after maybe it went from 32 to 14, after the round of 14, I was like, just don't do anything stupid. And I think I can go home with the champ.
Yeah, and not just go home as the champ. Didn't you win like a side by side like vehicle too?
We won a four-wheeler, a
Oh,
Polaris four-wheeler. So like a quad, I think is what you'd
yeah,
call it. We haven't got it
yeah.
yet, but they're
Oh, okay.
emailing back and forth on how to pick it up. So I got
Oh,
that. We got a hat, a belt buckle, and we got VIP tickets to the Red Bull event. I think it's called the Flagler, maybe. You can build a boat and you try and
Oh,
fly it. Who flies
the
the farthest over a lake?
the Flugtag. It's one of my
Yes,
favorites.
that's what it's called. Yeah. So we'll be at that in September, as whatever
Oh,
VIP means.
yeah. Hey, that regardless, VIP always has a nice ring to it. And I was gonna
I
say
love that.
because I felt like when we saw that was on the prize purse, I was like, I have a feeling like Dylan might be licking his chops that you guys got a four-wheeler.
I mean, if it was like what the family could all ride, I think we'd be a little bit more excited. But we
Yeah.
also have a golf cart, so it's like, do we need both? No. Do we want both? Yes. I mean, yes.
You can hear your daughter chiming in from the side. Absolutely. That's the attitude. That's what
Yeah.
I love it. Oh man.
It was
Well,
so fun.
it sounds like a pretty cool experience. Is that something that you can maybe see mixing in from time to time if other events like the opportunities pop up?
Oh, totally. And it was so refreshing to do a competition and you just do it. Like I think
Uh-huh.
I get so many competitions where the athlete brief takes an hour and people
Mm.
ask the stupidest questions. And like the course was so complicated and nobody asked any questions. I was
Oh,
like, this is so refreshing. They were like, okay, just get over, throw the sandbag in. Like that simple, just get it done. And out of, I think there were like 75 competitors, there weren't any questions. Like they just showed up, did it, no drama, just there to have fun, throw down. And it was so refreshing.
that's awesome. Don't have to worry about squat depth,
Exactly.
lunge protocol, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, but that's not the only event that is on your calendar coming up. You have the games coming up. You have World Fitness Project Tour Stop 2. Just kind of big picture right now, because I know that the season calendar as a whole has looked very different from past years. And what has kind of been your general approach, if anything different from years past, and kind of managing your energy throughout the calendar?
Yeah, I feel like August 1st is when my season starts. I feel
Mm.
like the beginning of the year was very chill, very relaxed. I'm 100% expecting the back half of the year to be very busy and full and all the things. So I've like managed my time to where I feel like I'm relaxing the first half of the year. Back half of the year, we got a lot. Games, World Fitness Project, potentially Rogue, potentially
Mhm.
Copenhagen with the end of the World Fitness Project. So I'm mentally preparing myself to be very busy.
Yeah, just right there, that's four very high level competitions against, some of the best in the space. You're going to have a super high profile, dense field at Rogue. Same with World Fitness Project, with both the qualified pros, the pro cards, and the guarantees on that end. And then, the the CrossFit Games being, the more traditional like qualification process to earn yourself there. And are you taking any sort of different approach mindset wise, or is it just like I'm going to show up, be the fittest I can be?
Pretty different. Normally, this time of the year, I have a set peaking, like I am in the peak. This is the mountain I'm going up to peak. This is my
Mm.
intentionality with training. And right now, my approach is just like I have like three things I say, or maybe it's four. I move, I groove, I show up, I improve. Like I'm not going to
Mm.
stress over peaking at a certain time. Like I'm just gonna stay, okay, I showed up, moved, groove, showed up, improved. I'm good. I sweated today, that's enough. I did my strength stuff, that's enough. It's just trying to keep fitness all year round, not necessarily kill myself to be amazing for one competition. I'd rather be consistent for all four potentially coming up in the off season.
Yeah, I love that. How did you settle on that? First off, that sounds like it's right out of like a Disney movie, like The Emperor's New Groove or something like that.
I
Like,
love
but
that.
but
Yeah, me too.
how did you settle on that kind of mantra, and what were maybe some of the aspects that pushed you towards that?
Unfortunately, last season I peaked hard. I trained hard. I did all the things and then it was all meaningless. It was all for nothing. And I realized that like life is more important, enjoying my fitness is more important. I'm not going to do that again. So I'm just going to enjoy the fitness I do and also just like take it day by day. Like what I'm doing is enough and I'm really happy with qualifying, getting fifth at the WFP, and just realizing like it's enough. I don't have
Mhm.
to do anything crazy. I don't have to prove anything. I'm the Red Bull Rancher champ. Like, what else do I have to prove? You know?
Exactly. No, I guess you could say that's a title that only the male champ can ever claim to. So
Right.
that's a pretty rarefied air. But I've always enjoyed your perspective, particularly from the outset when you qualified way back at the Granite Games and you didn't expect it. Do you feel like the fact that your elite level career in the sport started unexpectedly, that it has grounded you more?
I think so. I just appreciate it more. It's like
Mm,
I know what it feels like to try and go to the games and not make it. I know what it feels like to try and be elite and not be elite. So now I just
mm.
appreciate every opportunity. And like my value does not come from placement. And I think it's very freeing as an athlete because I can just do my best and I can just train every day at my best. And that's enough, regardless what the leaderboard says.
Yeah, yeah. And well, I will say this one thing that I do remember you saying that you had been working on when we were in SoCal for Tier Waza SoCal. I don't remember if it was you or Dylan that turned and was like, "Mama's got some new strength," and I remember
Yeah.
you being excited about the lift. Is that
Yep.
something is that a focus that has kind of stuck with you through the calendar year?
You know what? I talked to Dylan about this today, actually. Last year, training for the games, I peaked physically and strength wise, like more than I ever had, and it was for
Mm.
nothing. But I'm like maintaining that strength. So
Oh,
SoCal was so refreshing to be like, hey, here's a stamp of approval. Like you did get really strong. You're awesome. Keep it up. So now it's just maintaining that strength. So I'm not trying to like set any new PRs. If I can
mm.
just keep cleaning 250, money. Because I think I'm
Yeah,
I'm strong enough in the field now. Now I just
yeah,
need that to be consistent in my cardio.
yeah. No, for sure. And I think it's once you kind of hit those thresholds and you can maybe prove to yourself that you're capable of it, it takes the pressure off of that uncertainty of like, can I get stronger? Is this something that's possible? Am I just throwing like darts at the board versus like, hey, I've seen some very real results and I know that I can, kind of maintain that a little bit.
Exactly. And Rogue is very reassuring too, because they
Yeah.
ended with like a 175-pound sandbag. And that would have crushed me back in the day. But it was like, no,
Mhm.
I can do this. I'm strong. I can, just changing my mindset.
Yeah. And kind of touching on that just a little bit. You finished third at Rogue and made the podium there. And was that in any way vindicating the kind of like it was all for nothing type feeling that you felt from peaking so hard to where you're like, I still got some hardware, I still had a performance that's like podium caliber?
Yeah, it definitely made, because I got third at the games. So it like reassured me that the third at the games was not a fluke. You've
Hmm.
now gotten a third at Rogue with the same field, and the girls are only
Hmm.
getting better. So it just
Yeah.
like reassured, like, okay, you're not a one-hit wonder. Like you still got it. It was fun. But I
Uh,
also, touching on strength stuff, I'm trying to just like grow my brand however I can. So what that
yeah.
is now is growing like a YouTube channel. So I
Hmm.
started posting some of my strength days on YouTube. And it's been so fun to see people comment like, "Oh, this is cool. Post more of this." So like they care about that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Mhm.
mean, who doesn't like watching someone smash some cool lifts online, like whether it's
That's right.
Instagram, YouTube, like I do think, I guess when all the changes went back a long time ago. I think one thing that's been nice is I think a lot of athletes have taken up some of the content creation on their own side to showcase more of the behind the scenes stuff from their personal lives. I think people
Right.
really appreciate that, right? And with you and your channel, what has been kind of the focus, some of the bumps, some of the unexpected kind of like, oh, I didn't know that goes into this, or maybe this was more than I expected.
Yeah, YouTube content creation is expensive. That's one thing I realized real quick. Like, okay, I could not hire somebody to do this because I'm not making any money from it right now. So I just like
Yeah.
learned all the stuff myself, and that's been really fun. But what I think the vibe I'm trying to go for now is I want to be like the Sam Sulik of the female CrossFit. I don't know if you know
Oh,
who that is or watch his stuff.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
people love him on YouTube, and all he does is just like work out and then talk about the exercise he's doing. So I'm like,
yeah.
okay, maybe I can like kind of do that in my own style. If people like it, if they relate to it, I'll just keep running with it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you feel is there Is there an aspect of like what you present that you feels more natural? You know, like I talked to some content creators that they're like, hey, I started wanting to go this direction, but I naturally fell into this type of content, whether it's like posting your strength videos or, you know, the workout, a little bit of home life workout kind of structure, at least from your YouTube channel.
I'm kind of just listening to the people. So I was doing
Mm,
productions like the Losing Lowen series I was doing where me and Dylan go
yeah.
head to head and race. And I thought they were amazing, but the views weren't amazing. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't have to be a production. Let me just post something I think is really boring, me lifting weights in the gym. And it did better than the other ones. So I'm like, I'm just going to listen to the people. They loved the Red Bull Ranger Strong, but I also think that
Yeah.
was just very different.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever they want to see, I'll do it.
Isn't that crazy though? Like, I guess that's kind of the double-edged sword of content creation. There are things that you're really proud of and you're really excited about because you put the
Right.
effort and time, but it just doesn't hit with the crowd. And then there are things you're like, oh, I just kind of like toss this up for, you know, just me lifting casual, and then it's like, whoa, that
This is
blew up
great.
of all things.
Yeah.
And
And
I
then you
don't.
have to listen to the market. So
True.
I got to.
Great. Yeah, heck yeah, heck yeah. Is there anything as far as like looking forward with the YouTube channel? Any things that maybe you have earmarked as potential growth points or things you'd like to do or expand or accomplish in the next year or so?
I have a really superficial goal. A
Mm.
really superficial goal.
Okay,
My goal is to make $10,000 from YouTube. So that's
great.
very, like right now that looks very big and overwhelming because I make like $10 per 1,000 view. But I'm like, you know what? That's my 5-year plan. If I can do that, make 10K, put it all on our mortgage, that is totally worth it. So that's my
Heck yeah.
superficial goal.
All right. Well, let's help that superficial goal. Look up Ariel Loewen on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's her handle is at Ariel Loewen one. What do you? She's got 5.5, like a little over 5,500 subscribers. Got a beautiful banner up there with family, with her with the American flag. Let's go get
Thanks.
let's go get the pump those numbers up and get that 10,000, because I don't think that's an unreasonable goal, right? If it goes towards something like you said it yourself, like hopefully it's like, you know, a little bit of extra something that can go towards a mortgage,
Right.
that can go for like family, anything like that. And it's something that you pour your heart and soul in, and it's part of your process as an athlete. Like, more power to
Yeah.
you, you know?
I'll take it. And I also have had a corporate in the office cubicle job. And I'm like, man, this is so much easier than having to sit behind a desk all day. So like that perspective is like, this is great. I love my job.
Oh yeah, no, no doubt, no doubt. And kind of circling back to another event, tour stop one for the World Fitness Project in Indianapolis. I got to be there. I was grateful to be a part of the live broadcast team, and I know being a part of this new experience, new event, new season, kind of sorts, was exciting for a lot of athletes. What was kind of your experience? What were maybe some initial thoughts, some hesitations, if any, about jumping on board with this, and then and what ultimately shook out for you in Indy for the first time?
Yeah. The hesitations were, I think, what everybody's were. It's a question mark. It's like,
Hmm.
we've been hyped up. Hey, show up, show up. What is it actually going to look like? Are people going to care? Is the community going to get behind it? Or is it just going to be the classic athletes throwing down with no crowd? So that was my
Yeah.
fear. But we got there and I was so pleased with the crowd that showed up. They were amazing. The community that was there, the venue was beautiful. The floor was beautiful. So it was really fun. I had lower expectations because it's the
Mhm.
first, and the first can usually be crazy, but it was
Yeah.
awesome. We exceeded those. One thing I loved just as a bougie, selfish person is we started every event at like 12 p.m. So you had the
Oh,
morning to wake up, get coffee, get fueled, make your way to the venue, and then it's go time. It didn't
yeah.
feel rushed, it felt relaxed. We could kind of enjoy the city of Indianapolis a bit. And it was
Nice.
it was pretty nice.
That's awesome. When you say kind of crazy, I'm always interested to see what classifies that from an athlete's perspective, because every athlete's different too. Some
Mhm.
athletes like I always want to make sure things run on time, or I can tell from how they run a movement standard, you know, briefing, that whether or not it's going to be crazy. What usually stands out as like something that classify as an event as crazy or maybe disorganized that makes you nervous?
I think NorCal was a perfect example of, like, to me, that seemed like chaos.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
having the right weights on the floor. There were weights that shouldn't even be on the floor. So when, like, the competition floor, if I step on there as an athlete
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't look like the judge knows what they're doing, there's weights everywhere in my lane that shouldn't be there. That in
Mm-hmm.
my brain is chaos. But everything, like, had a place. There was an even flow that you knew what to do on the workout. And then I think sticking to a schedule is very
Yeah.
important.
Oh. And now I guess with the season kind of guaranteeing you 3 appearances, is there any hesitation around any of the 3 stops? Like, were you from the get-go like, I'm going to go to all 3, or are we going to play and see how this goes? I know that having the tour card allows you entry into it, but doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go. As we've seen, Haley Adams, Emma McQuaid sat out the first 2 due to injury. And I'm curious if there's any other reason why you wouldn't go to the other 2.
The only reason I wouldn't go is if something came up with family. Like
Mm.
if Dylan's business was crazy, Blakely needed me. But like I
Mhm.
signed up to attend all 3 and like I'm fully
Nice.
prepared. But also it's a vacation, like not a vacation because I'm working, but I get to go to Mesa, see what Mesa's all about. I get to
Yeah.
go to Denmark, Copenhagen. Why would I not say no? So I went in knowing, I don't want to say that the first tour didn't matter, but it's a combination of 3. So it's like I'm going to do my best effort in 3, not necessarily try and win the first one.
Mhm.
I'd rather be better in Denmark. So I went into the first one just like, let's see what happens, have fun, soak it all in. Okay, now we know what it is. Let's get a little bit better. And then let's get a little bit better for the final.
Mhm. And you competed at oh my gosh, the event, it's escaping me, the one where you compete as a team of 7, right? Did you compete at that one where it's like the big
Oh, is it
teams?
the Tier Cal? The Tier Cup?
Not Tier Cup, but there
Yeah.
was one in the UK. Did you go to that one? The one in the
Oh, Fit
UK?
Fest.
Fit Fest. Yes, that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of.
I love
I,
Fit Fest.
I was curious for stateside athletes, because we're spoiled here in the United States. Most events are on this side of the pond. For you,
Right.
you mentioned getting geared up for Copenhagen, or like ready to go for that. How much does international travel or something like that factor into your prep for being your best, and whether it's lead time on the front end to acclimate?
Yeah, it sucks. I don't know how, like, I took it for granted. The athletes that come over from overseas, I'm like, oh, whatever. But whenever
Yeah,
I actually had to do it for Rogue, I was like, man, this sucks. This is miserable. You like almost feel drunk the first couple of days because you're off your sleep schedule. I
yeah,
definitely have to take it into account because it's so challenging.
yeah, yeah. And I, for someone that seems so grounded in who they are, your priorities with your family, your faith, and everything around you, I I, I always feel hard pressed to ask about expectations for what a successful season looks like, because it feels like you do a good job of maybe separating yourself from your identity and being a placement. But if you envision yourself, moving, grooving, showing up, and improving
Yeah, yeah.
all the way through December. Yeah, I see Blakely approves too.
She does.
What does that look like for you? I mean, like performance wise, placement wise, experience wise.
I think tangibly that I can measure top 10 in every event I do. So top 10 at the games, top 10 at World Fitness Project, top 10 at Rogue, top 10 at Copenhagen at the end. On paper, I'm happy with that. But I think
Yeah,
like my biggest goal is to be healthy. If I
yeah.
can do the back half of the year, which is going to be a lot physically, if I can come out of that healthy, that's a win.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, and I like that tangible goals. I think obviously top 10 is something from externally we would expect from someone of your
Yeah.
caliber, because you've proven at this standpoint too. But
I
um,
mean, maybe if I want to be crazy, top 5 in all of them. But
yeah,
like you just don't know. You don't know what the workouts are, what the events will be. So I don't want to set my goals too high.
I don't want to necessarily draw comparisons to other sports. Is that something you feel like sets our sport apart in terms of like setting expectations? Because I feel like in other sports, maybe athletes aren't as hesitant to throw like a very distinct placement goal out or expectation for them for a game, whether it's just, binary, like we want to win. But it seems like every time I talk to an athlete, and this is just kind of me spitballing, they're always like a little bit on their heels providing predictions, just because the idea of like, we don't know what the program is going to be. We don't know what's going to be asked of us is always out there.
Right. I mean, unless you're Tia, who's just good at everything, like the programming
Yeah.
matters. If they make the games all cardio based running, I will not have a good shot at top 5. Like that's just how it is. If they make
Mhm.
it high skill and a little bit heavier, kind of like a rogue, I have a good shot at top 5. It's just so dependent on what they decide they want to program, and it
Mhm.
can either screw us over or be great depending on your gifts.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
like I feel like a really good programmer can test everything creatively.
Mhm.
Like nothing is skewed to like, oh, this favors a shorter athlete. Oh, this favors a taller athlete. Like a good
Mhm.
programmer can do that. It just takes, I mean, it takes a lot of thought and detail and a few people in the room to figure that out.
Yeah, for sure. You did mention Tia though, and she just announced that she's, going to be returning to Albany.
Right.
I think the overwhelming consensus is like, oh, Tia's coming. Okay, she's going to win.
Totally.
From an athlete side of things, like, what is that? What is your reaction? Because I know you don't want to necessarily admit defeat right away, right? And you always want to give yourself a shot, but um, does that creep into your mind at all?
I mean, there's a bit of reality. So, like, if you look at Tia, she's won 7 times in a row. So, I don't want to, I would never underestimate her because chances are she will stand on top based on her track record. Look at what she's
Mhm.
done. So, I kind of go in just saying, like, a podium spot is great. That's
Mhm.
obtainable.
Yeah.
I don't think first place is, but if the programming is very heavy and she hasn't been training heavy, maybe. But you would be foolish to counter out.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
as far as like her effect being on the floor, I don't know if you're super familiar with this, but there in golf there used to be what was called the Tiger Woods effect, where if Tiger Woods showed up to a tournament, the entire field, regardless of whether they were at the top close by or whether he was winning or not, just him showing up to the field on average meant that the rest of the golfers would shoot 1 to 2 shots worse than they would if he wasn't there. So
Interesting.
his physical presence had an intimidation factor and affected and left a wake around him that other golfers had a hard time navigating. Do you sense anything like that with Tia? Is the sport different? Is there something along the lines of like, hey, she shows up and maybe I can, learn a few things from her or inspired by her, or is it as a, kind of blinders on type scenario?
Now that you say that, like I showed up to the World Fitness Project. She didn't um, sign a contract with them. And I looked at the World Fitness Project like, okay, let's see if I can win a workout. Because now there's this question mark of like, okay, we know Tia's not going to win them all because she's not there. Who's going to
Hmm.
win each one? And it kind of made it a bit more hopeful, exciting. Versus
Yeah.
the games, it's like winning a workout at the games is crazy because usually Tia or Laura win them all.
Yeah.
So it was kind of
Unless it's Elizabeth elevated, right?
that's right. So it was kind of
Yeah.
fun going into the WFP because it's like, okay, who's going to win this workout? I don't really know. Let's see what
Hmm.
happens.
Yeah. Well, then I guess, and I'll be interested to talk to other people too, because I guess that does mean there is at least some effect um, to it. But
I think it
kind
makes
of,
the wins more fun. Like elevating Elizabeth would not have meant the same to me if Tia wasn't there. But
oh,
because she
interesting.
was, it makes me a little bit more proud of it.
So it's a little mixture of both, right? Like maybe it
Right.
reframes your approach, but also, on the plus side, like if you do hit one out of the park, you kind of have bragging rights. You can say like, "Hey, I went toe to toe with the best there ever is, and won." Right? Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Is uh, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but what do you envision as sort of like your career lifespan? It's kind of a taboo thing I think to talk about sometimes with some of
Yeah.
the athletes, just because do you have instances like Sam Briggs or Becca Voigt Miller that were competing for forever, but you also have athletes that start young and then they lose
But
themselves
yeah,
in the sport a little bit. Yeah. And I'm curious, what do you maybe have as a kind of an envisionment for the career span?
it's a very real thing. So it's something I think about going into every season. Is this my last season? Should I be enjoying the process of like, this is my last training for the games? Because I'm 31. I have one kid. I would like another kid. So it's very real things that we're thinking about. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I never thought I'd make it 5 years in a row competing at the elite stage. I would assume I'm not going more than 7 years. So I might have 2 more years left in me. And then it's like, hey, you've had 7 years doing whatever you want. Time to grow the family a bit more and focus on other things.
Yeah.
But I
I could,
would hope it's clear mentally and like peace inside of me, like God saying you're done, not a debilitating injury that I'm forced to be done. That's my worst
yeah.
fear.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And, knock on wood,
I know. I know.
all prayers up that that's the case, that you get to choose when your time is. But I also think there are some athletes that struggle with that. Is that your personality typically? Like, some people just don't know when to walk away.
I don't know. I hope it's not. But I think we just get greedy. It's like, oh, I've had 5 years. What's one more? What's one more?
Yeah.
What's one more? So it's just really, really, that's why I have to listen to my family and those close around me that I trust to be
Yeah.
like, should I do this?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like every athlete's equation, right? The balancing of the scales is different. For yours, obviously growing your family is an important element, but are there other driving factors behind the consideration to step away in addition to that?
I don't think so. Because right now I have the best job ever. Like it's
Yeah.
the easiest money I've ever made. I love what I do. I get to interact with all these awesome people in the community all over. So I love
Mhm.
it. And if I could do it for 10 more years, 100%,
Yeah.
that's just unrealistic.
I mean, hey,
To be
you had Blake,
competitive.
yeah, you had Blakely and you came back and were better than ever once. Who's to say that, kid
I
number
don't know.
2?
I don't really believe in that, to be honest. I think
Really?
once I'm done, I'm done.
Okay. See, there
Yeah.
you kind of answered it. You're like, you're not gonna, once you make that decision, you're good.
Yeah.
So,
I think so. We'll see. I would love to be on the back end of it, still be involved in the sport somehow, commentating, community events, maybe coaching, partnering with somebody to be like a coach to help people. I'd love to still be involved in it in some capacity.
100%. I can pretty much say this with confidence that when you decide to stop competing, you have Sean, Lauren, all of our full support in going into the commentating world, because it would be awesome to
But
have your perspective, I think, in the booth and, on events like that for sure.
thanks. I think
Um,
commentating is hard though. I would definitely have to work on it.
I, I pause in saying it's hard because and many times I do feel like you said, like we get to do this for a job, and and I'll be the first to say I don't think I'm, anything spectacular. I'm grateful for every commentating gig or media gig that we get to work, and that people keep asking you back. But I also am like, sometimes people come up and they're like an athlete or someone, they're like, man, this is way more difficult than what I thought. And I'm like, yeah, but also, like, I think what you do is incredibly difficult. And you're like, I just love doing this. So, it's kind of like
I think
the
you're great at it. To be a good commentator is hard. We've seen a few, like this past year, they've opened commentary to more people.
Somebody's at the house.
I'll look in a second.
Okay.
And even though they're a commentator, they were not a good commentator. So I think to be
wow.
good in the space, it is an art. Like Noah actually commentated the Red Bull Rancher event, and
Mhm.
Noah Olson was phenomenal. And I'm like,
Oh,
man, you know when somebody has it and when somebody doesn't.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty clear when someone can articulate their thoughts in a way that's clear and concise.
Right.
Because that's one of the biggest things when you're speaking with a countdown timer. When you're like, have a producer in your ear being like, counting you in 10, 9, and some people just freeze up and they don't know what to do. But
Yeah.
um, oh man. Well,
Um,
Ariel, I apparently there's someone at the house, so I want
yeah,
to make sure
somebody's at the door.
you could do your mama bear duties and make sure everything's good. I always appreciate catching up with you. I'm sure we'll chat and hopefully catch up after an eventful August and a few more medals around your neck. So thank you as always.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. We'll see you, Tommy.
Big fan of Arielle Loewen. So here's
she's the best.
Awesome. Wish her all the best in Albany. So here's my comparison, Tommy. I want to see if you agree with me. I was driving the other day. I was thinking about Arielle Loewen. I knew you were going to be talking to her, and this popped into my head. She is this generation's version of Val Voberl.
I'm glad you said that, because I was trying to guess who it was, and I thought,
see,
okay, mom. Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of does her own thing. Not flashy at all. You know, is very good at a lot of stuff, and all of a sudden you look up and by God, there she is, like right in the top 5, right in contention, right? Not doing anything like Pat Sherwood said, like the old Toyota Camry, just all reliable, going to get you there. It's not flashy, just does the job. And I think Arielle Loewen is kind of the next version of Val Voberl.
Yeah. And I think there are events that air. So like, I remember Val also, every once in a while she would win an event. You're like, wouldn't have pegged her to win that one. And I think Arielle is the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. Same, I think sort of similar skill sets than what they're really good with. And just same MO, man. They just League of Shadows, you know?
Yeah, I love it.
Just hanging out.
That's a throwback.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's BKG's in the League of Shadows too. He's like, where is he? Oh, he's in 6th. Of course he is. Well, I haven't seen him all competition. Well, he's right there in 6th place. Like that's what he's doing. He's in the top 5 now. And you didn't notice. Yeah, League of Shadows. BKG and Arielle Loewen definitely in the League of Shadows along with Val Voberl. So, yeah, I'm glad you agree with me on that, because the more I started thinking about it, the more I was like, yeah, that's who she reminds me of.
It's pretty apropos, I would say.
All right. Well, I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough to beat Tia.
Yeah, and I liked Ariel's approach, you know, because I asked her about that too, and just like the change. And she's very like practical and sets very attainable goals, and understands that like just because I set this goal doesn't mean that there's a chance of exceeding that. But also she was just like, you know, she relished the opportunity to like, even if it's just like an event, to say that like, hey, I got to compete with the best. And if I can beat her in one event, you know, we talked about her win in Elizabeth Elevated where she beat Tia. It's like, all right, that's just one at a time. And, you know, and if not, then if not. But either way, I'm going to go out there and have a good time.
Yeah, big fan. I love seeing those people be successful. You know, just
100%.
Doing my own thing, having fun, enjoying it. Doesn't seem like she puts a ton of pressure on herself. Like Val. Val used to not look at the leaderboard and was grading papers underneath the StubHub Center in between events. I think she had her 3rd grade class out there one year. It was like a summer school type thing.
Yeah, only CrossFit Games athlete to get onto the podium while simultaneously failing a student on their essay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know if they're writing essays in the 3rd grade, but yeah, point taken. So, all right. We got any community support we want to get to?
Nothing off the top of my head. We did have some last couple of weeks. So if you haven't already, go back and check those out between Patrick Herringer and Grayson from Annie Sakamoto's gym, CrossFit Santa Cruz Central. The support for all of those has been pretty outstanding, and just continue to check in on those. And Annie's been posting stuff regularly. CrossFit Santa Cruz Central has been posting stuff regular. Grayson, who had the issue in Australia, is home now. Good. He flew home. So happy update there. So and as always, if anything pops up, please just let us know.
All right. PRs and no reps. I think
I got some.
You got some? Okay, you can start. You can start
Lead
with
us.
reps.
I'm gonna no rep unicycles.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you, and I'm like, what did I do?
I know. I thought he was gonna say that too. Why unicycles?
Yeah. No, George Carlin's got a great, and I can't repeat it here on the show, but he's got a great bit about unicycles. It's hilarious.
Oh boy.
The greatest halftime performer in the history of pro sports right now.
Yes.
The Red Panda.
Yes, know who you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Fell in warm up for her performance and broke her wrist, all because of that damn unicycle.
You know who used to be ride a mean unicycle? Marson Sawyers.
Marson Sawyers. Yes, he did.
Could ride a unicycle.
There was one kicking around the office, and he decided to learn how. So he taught himself how to ride a unicycle.
Yep. All right. You're going to no rep unicycles. Lauren, you have a no rep?
Impressive. I mean, I've no repped them once. I'll no rep them again. American Airlines. Get out of here.
Wow.
Get out of here. They get a lifetime no rep.
Oh man.
Whoa.
Yeah. Just I'm convinced that every miserable human being goes and works there.
Wow.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay. I'm trying to think. I think I've had some bad experiences on American with like canceled flights and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then they're just mean about it. They're just mean about
nothing
it.
we can do. Sorry. No, that's not. No, you're not. Okay. Well, I'll wrap us around here because I'm going to PR and no rep the same people. And that is people who are enjoying their last, 14 hours with 2 full hands.
It comes every year. I love it, Sean.
Enjoy your last couple, last day of having 2 functioning appendages on your upper torso. Because we know it's going to happen. Tomorrow, hey, watch this. There's going to be some famous last words.
Is there like a percentage of how many people lose a finger on 4th of July?
I don't know, but I guarantee you it's, Jason Pierre-Paul, the defensive lineman for the New York Giants.
Yep.
Firework accident. Have we not learned by now? So.
Yep.
Anyway, that's my PR no.
Right? That actually leads into one of my PRs.
All right, go for it.
I'm going to PR putting it in reverse. Because, oh, Lord, Terry, put it in reverse. Have you seen that video?
No.
Oh, my God, you got to be kidding me. Oh, the video where these guys are lighting fireworks and one of the guys is in an electric wheelchair.
No.
And he's like standing there helping and they light the firework and the guy in the wheelchair, his name's Terry. And he goes, oh, Lord, Terry. And somehow something happens where his wheelchair like jams. And so it's not moving. And the fireworks starting to go off. And he's like, oh, put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord, Terry.
Man.
It is one of the greatest.
All right. I'll look that up.
Greatest videos ever. Oh, my God. And it's like it's 4th of July when you start seeing put it in reverse, Terry. People posting it.
My friend, my favorite is like, kids, don't play with fireworks. Let the adults who have been drinking all day play with them. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Let your sketchy uncle who just met up with a guy out at a trucking yard to get those fireworks handled.
Did you see that giant explosion that happened up in Yolo County? That fireworks?
Yeah. The fireworks facility.
Yeah, that's not very far from here. It's a couple hours, but yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's on the way up to Sacramento on on 80.
Yeah, I-80.
Yeah.
I think
I got
you'd
one
have to
more.
hit 5 to go up. All right, go ahead.
Hold on. Can I hit you guys with the stat?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh.
Okay. According to ChatGPT,
so we know it's
roughly
right.
10,000 injuries are treated in the U.S. emergency room each year due to fireworks, but about 70% of those happen in the 2 weeks surrounding 4th of July.
America.
What?
Yeah. America. All right.
America.
Coming again. Freedom costs $1.05. My last PR is deleting dogs with the crew because the greatest athlete of all time.
Oh, from San Jose, California. San Jose State alum, Joey, your boy.
Yep. Joey Jaws Chestnut is coming back after a year away to reclaim his 17th mustard belt in the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Championship.
Oh, boy.
The record is 76 hot dogs set by him a few years ago. I listened to an interview with him. He says, if anyone can, put all the good juju together, pray for 75 degrees, slight overcast, just a little bit of sun, very light wind. So you want warm dogs and fast buns.
All right.
And he said 80 is possible.
80 is possible. My God. All right.
He said if anyone watches it, if he hits 50 by the 5-minute mark, it's going down.
Okay.
What do you think that does to your insides?
Like
he actually has he's pretty interesting. He has like a protocol around like these events where like he eats, he goes through like a cleanse of sorts, and then like gets back on a nutrition plan and like how he handles it. Although props to him because he does go out and have some beers with the boys afterwards. So
here's a question: is Joey Chestnut the Tia Toomey of competitive eating, or is Tia Toomey the Joey Chestnut of CrossFit?
Ooh.
Debate
I'll say this:
Joey
Chestnut has 55 world records.
55, really?
55, and he has won the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating title 16 times.
The pride of San Jose State University. That's right.
I watched Joey Chestnut when he was still in the area right out of San Jose State. I watched him delete a 5-pound burrito-zilla from Iguanas in downtown San Jose in like a minute 20. It was crazy. He was just like, it was like Pac-Man, like gone.
How do you think this is something you realize you're good at?
I don't know.
I think him along with Kobayashi actually have something about genetically, something about where their stomach sits, where instead of expanding upward into their like internal organs and like causing all the fullness and issues, it sits higher and expands downward, if I'm not mistaken.
Huh.
They're genetically enhanced.
They're just built different.
Lauren, you got a PR? You want to follow?
No, just a lot of good hot dog talk,
Yeah,
you know.
There you go.
It's a bad day to be hot dog tomorrow.
It is.
That's
It is.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. For those of you in the United States, have a wonderful and safe 4th of July holiday. For everybody else, enjoy your workday on Friday. And for our friends in the United Kingdom, happy Treason Day to you too. If you celebrate. I don't know if you do. So next week I think we're gonna start shifting into sort of like some games mode here, because we got a lot to talk about heading into the CrossFit Games. I don't know, cook up some interviews. Who knows what's going to be on the table? It's going to be all about the CrossFit Games, and it's going to be time well spent. So enjoy your holiday, everybody. Please stay safe. For Lauren Khalil and Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. Take care of each other. Be better, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Like a kiss at the start of a first date. If it's good, it's good. I don't want to wait. When the feeling's right, I'm taking it.